All right, so we're diving into some dense stuff today, folks. We're talking about Honduras and a whole proposed revamp of their tax and investment laws. I know. Not exactly beach reading, right? This thing's like 200 pages long.
It's a hefty one.
But, and here's why I'm hooked, it's all about trying to balance luring in those big investments,
Right.
but with this push for like actual social responsibility.
Yeah.
Which, let's be real, that's a tightrope walk if I've ever seen one.
It is. And to really get why these changes are such a big deal,
Yeah.
you got to zoom out, look at Honduras's economy overall.
Okay.
They've leaned hard on foreign investment.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Sure.
And this is key. It hasn't been a magic solution.
Right.
Like, they've had tax breaks before aimed at drawing investors in.
Mm-hmm.
But poverty's actually gotten worse.
No kidding.
And people leaving, emigrating, still a huge issue.
So it's like this new law is them admitting the old ways they weren't cutting it.
Yeah, you could say that.
Because this document, it doesn't mess around. It's like, bye-bye, comfy tax benefits
You're pretty direct.
for these big companies.
No, exactly. This huge shift is they're phasing out, like, sunsetting a bunch of those old tax breaks.
Huh.
And this is the kicker. They're going for a worldwide income model.
Okay, now break that down for me. What's that mean in plain English?
So basically, if you're a resident of Honduras,
Mm-hmm.
you're taxed on all the money you make, period.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't matter if it's earned in Honduras, here in the U.S., on Mars, whatever.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, for investors with, like, fingers in lots of pies internationally, huge deal.
See, now that's bold. You wouldn't think a country trying to woo investors would do that.
It's definitely a signal.
Makes you wonder, are they moving away from relying on these big companies altogether?
Too soon to say for sure, but it's a shift in strategy, that's for certain.
Okay.
And we haven't even gotten to the part where they're, like, closing loopholes.
Oh, there's more?
Oh, yeah, the document straight up says some companies, years, haven't paid any taxes
Get out.
due to these, frankly, overly generous breaks.
So they're trying to level the playing field a little bit.
That's a big part of it.
So if they're taking away the candy, what are they going to offer instead to get these investors interested?
That, my friend, is where Ryan D comes in.
All right, cliffhanger. We'll dig into that in just a bit.
A whole other beast.
But before we go there, back to this worldwide income thing for a sec.
Sure.
You said game changer, but how, so specifically for like the average investor listening.
Okay, imagine this. You're based here in the U.S., right?
Mm-hmm.
But you've got some investments in Honduras.
Okay.
Now, Honduras wants to tax part of your global income,
Whoa.
not just the profits you make specifically down in Honduras.
So it's not just about where the money eye is, it's where you are as a company, as a person?
Exactly. Huge departure from how a lot of countries do it.
Huh.
Like, the territorial tax system, only income earned in that country is taxed.
So for someone thinking Honduras, maybe I'll invest, this adds like a whole other level of, hold on.
For sure, it's not just, will I make money? It's, what's the tax hit globally?
Right. Could make Honduras less appealing compared to places with that other system.
Especially, like we said, for investors with lots of international stuff going on.
Right. Okay, so point being, this is big, this is one to watch.
Absolutely something to keep an eye on, yeah.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. We've covered the tax breaks ending, this worldwide income shakeup.
Mm-hmm.
But how is Honduras going to actually attract anyone with all of this new stuff in place?
Well, now this is where it gets interesting. They've got these two new incentive programs
Hit me with it.
called RIMATAC and RINDE Megaproyectos.
Okay, I am intrigued, but we're going to have to save this for next time, right?
You bet.
All right, folks, stay tuned because Honduras is playing some high-stakes economics here.
That they are.
All right, so RINDE and RINDE Megaproyectos sounds kind of like a superhero duo, right?
Yeah, kind of. But instead of saving the world, they're Honduras's plan to save, well, their economy.
Okay, I'm listening. What's the game plan with these programs?
So it's like they're saying, okay, we're getting rid of those super generous tax breaks.
Right.
So how do we make Honduras attractive to investors and now?
The $1,000,000 question.
Exactly. And RINDE. That stands for Régimen de Incentivos a la Inversión para el Desarrollo.
Catchy.
Basically, it gives some pretty big deductions.
Okay, like what? Spell it out for me.
We're talking income tax, solidarity contributions, that's a tax that funds their social programs,
Mm-hmm.
and even net worth tax all get a haircut.
Less jargon, more numbers. How much we talking, deduction-wise?
So it's tiered. Depends how many permanent jobs they create
Oh, interesting.
and how much is invested in those jobs.
So the more you put into Honduran workers, the more you save on the back end.
Exactly. Can't just be about throwing money at any old project.
Gotta have some skin in the game, show you're actually impacting employment.
Precisely. Now the mega incentives, those are a whole other level.
Okay, hit me with the mega.
We're talking huge projects like massive infrastructure, energy initiatives that scale.
Okay, so think national level impact kind of thing.
Yeah. And the incentives match the name tax holidays, baby.
Wait, like no taxes at all? For how long?
First 6 years of operation, completely exempt.
That's pretty enticing, not gonna lie.
It's a big deal. 100% off income tax, solidarity contributions, net worth tax, the whole shebang.
Right. Gotta be a catch, right? It can't be that simple.
Of course, there are some strings attached.
Lay it on me.
To qualify for mega status, got to show huge G positive impact, measurable on Honduras's economy.
So not just we built a thing, it's gotta be this thing changed the game.
That's the idea. And they have to fit into Honduras's strategic goals, which is another key part of all this.
Okay, so they're being picky, not just any old mega project will do.
Nope, they got a vision.
What kind of strategic goals are we talking about here?
So the document, it highlights things like renewable energy,
Okay, going green, I see.
sustainable agriculture, big time,
Makes sense. Gotta feed the population.
and always, always infrastructure development.
Can't build the future without a solid foundation, right?
Exactly. So if you're an investor who's all about, say, clean energy,
Mm-hmm.
Honduras is looking pretty good right now.
But, and here's my skeptical side coming out, how do they make sure companies deliver on all these promises?
The jobs, the economic impact, all that.
Yeah, like what's stopping someone from taking the deal and running?
That is the question. And it leads us to one of the most interesting parts of this whole law, transparency.
Okay, transparency, we hear that word thrown around a lot. But what's it mean in this context with Honduras and these investments?
So they're talking about this central registry.
Registry of what?
Beneficial owners, meaning
Okay, hold up. Jargon alert. Who are those?
it's basically saying no more hiding behind shell companies or these offshore accounts, Honduras wants names.
So no more secret handshakes. I want to know who's really pulling the strings.
Exactly. Shining a light on the stuff that's usually kept deliberately murky.
And what's the thinking there? What's that accomplish?
Well, for one, way harder to get away with dodgy stuff.
Like tax evasion, all that.
Exactly. Money laundering, all that gets a lot tougher.
Huh. So it's kind of like they're playing by the international rule book more now.
Big time. This lines up with a global push against, illicit financial flows.
So they're trying to clean up their image a little bit.
Yeah, showing the world they're serious about being a good actor, a reliable partner.
Makes sense. If you're going to attract investors, you got to build that trust, right?
Especially on the global stage, and for investors who care about that stuff.
Because nobody wants to be the one propping up shady dealings, right?
Exactly. Ethical investing, that's a growing concern.
So it's smart on their part, B-U-T, and there's always a but.
Of course, the million-dollar question.
Can they actually pull this off? Enforcement is everything, right?
It is. That's going to take serious political will, strong institutions.
And no more turning a blind eye, which, let's be honest, has been an issue.
Yeah, corruption's got to be addressed. No way around it.
So it's a gamble, but hey, high risk, high reward.
Exactly. Could backfire, scare off some investors who like the old ways.
Or it could be exactly what they need to jumpstart things.
That's what we're going to see. It's like this real-time economics experiment.
And the whole world's watching, because if it works...
Everyone's going to be taking notes, that's for sure.
All right, folks, so there you have it. Our deep dive into Honduras's big swing.
Trying to balance those investor needs with, like you said, actual progress.
Exactly, and whether it'll economic boom or bust.
Only time will tell.
That's the nail on the head right there. That's why we do this.
It's going to be fascinating to watch it play out, that's for sure.
Absolutely. All right, listeners, you heard it here first. What's your take on all this?
Yeah, hit us up on social media. Let us know what you think.
Honduras, risky bet, or the future of ethical investing? We want to know.